sound. Better late than never for you and me.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Reardon, and I'll be your coach this evening. So today's topic is going to be talking about success. So this whole week, we have been talking about success in a nutshell, right? We talked about first planning, where do you want to be in your life, and then to start the actions needed to get to that success. But today we're going to talk on why is success so elusive, right? Why do so many people not achieve success? And there's a reason for it. And as much as I would like to say, hey, you get success, everyone gets success, right? Similar to Oprah and passing out cars. Success is one of those things where no matter who or what, you can get it, but it requires work. And the work that is required initially is dealing with yourself. And if there's one person who doesn't want to deal with themselves, is themselves, right? And let me explain that. Have you ever been in a relationship where the person maybe wasn't doing something that you loved, right? Maybe they had certain habits, certain traits that you didn't favor. So you end up breaking up with that person, and the person is like, oh, I'll change. I'll do whatever it takes to get you back, right? Okay. Maybe you're naive enough to say, I'm going to believe this person and I'm going to give them another chance. So you give them another chance. And in the beginning, yeah, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but in a few weeks, they're back to their same habits. So it's not so much that the person lied to you, it's just that the change that you wanted, they didn't really want for themselves. And as much as I hate to say, you can't change someone, right? They have to change themselves. So I can't find a person on the street and say, hey, you're going to be successful and I'm going to bring you along and I'm going to carry you along the way and I'm going to give you success. I can't do that because if they don't want it, they won't get it. So no matter how much I want for people to be successful, if they don't want it for themselves, then it's not going to work. So where would someone start to want to be successful, right? How does that journey start? Well, typically, it's not the easiest way to start success. Whether you had a good upbringing as a child, you were in a good environment, you had good role models, so you saw them being successful, so it's second nature to you. However, many of us are not as fortunate to be in that situation. So that means we're going to have to figure it out ourselves. And even if we look at the highest successful people in the world, that's not enough. Because we see what they did and we say, I don't really want to do that, right? I don't want to put in the work that's needed for that type of success. And even if someone said, oh, well, I'm just going to give you all this money and then you're going to be successful. Well, money is typically not a factor for success. Yes, it does play a role and you might have a goal for your money, but reaching it, they're just, let's say winning the lotto is not really going to bring you success. Yeah, it's going to bring you a short term of happiness, but it's not success. Success is something different, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. So if people do not want success, if people will fight tooth and nail not to be successful, what do? Right? Especially if it's someone you care about, someone you love, maybe it's your partner, maybe a family member, and they're going down the road where they're taking what the world is giving them. They are not pushing themselves to the limit, and they are just accepting the norm, becoming complacent, not ambitious enough to fulfill their dreams. And it's sad to see those people, right? To see those people you love and care about not pushing themselves. But not everyone is built the same. Some people are not built to push themselves every single day. Some people are not built to put in 20 hours of work a day, sleep for 4, and do it again and again and again until success is yours. No. People like luxury. People like their opinion. People like it easy. So the fact that people like it so easy and they like their opinion, why do they have to be successful, right? They might have just enough to live the life that they want, right? Their lifestyle. Maybe they can drive the car they want, or maybe not to drive the car they want, but maybe they drive a car. It could be broken down. It could be the wrong color, the wrong make and model. Maybe has no windows. There's plastic bags in the outside, but it gets you from A to B. It's a reliable car. Maybe it's not a reliable car. Who knows? But that's their car. And they're going to keep that car, and they're going to say, well, this is my car. And, when it finally kicks the bucket, and then I'll look at getting another car. They're not proactive. They're saying, when something happens, then I'm going to do something. That's called contingency. And being contingent is one of the worst things someone can do, especially when they want to achieve a goal. Because they put a limit, or they put a factor behind what it is they're going to do. So you might do this on the weekend, right? So you say, Monday, I'm going to hit it, right? Or you say, Friday, that's when I'm going to get that thing done. And you put a contingent, so the date is the contingency, right? There's a factor that has to happen before you start to implement action. So if you're going to say, okay, I want success, but I'm not going to get success until I'm 18, right? So if you're 16, you have 2 years to waste before you have to start putting in work and trying to be successful. But why not every day push yourself? Why not every day say, if I can be better than I was yesterday, then I'm going to be closer to my goal. I'm going to be closer to success. And then you can start to live the life that you really want to. However, many people become complacent and are content where they are. And even if they're not content, it's almost as your mind gives you a numbing agent where you're unhappy for a certain period of time. And then eventually you get used to it. You forget. And when you forget, you don't need any more action because you're not worried about it. It's not something you're looking to change. So if you don't want to change your life, no matter what someone else wants for you, it's not going to happen because you're the only person who can implement change in your life. And the reason people change is typically because of a certain type of drama or trauma, right? Drama is, oh my goodness, you're going to leave me. I'm going to change for you. And they change a little bit. Some people change, for the better, right? I'm not saying it's impossible because it happens. But most people retain their habits because they feel that if they lose what they have right now, then they're going to be without. Scarcity mindset. So they're afraid to lose what they have, so they're willing to change in order to keep it. but they're not willing to maintain the change. So eventually they lose it. So they're in a cycle where they don't want to lose something, but they're not willing to put in the work to keep it. So that's the type of drama. But then we have a trauma. Let's say you lose a job, or someone passes away, someone you love dearly. You start to do some self-reflection. Death makes you see the world differently. How many times have you maybe gone to a funeral or seen a Facebook post and someone's family member, friend had passed away, and they say, wow, appreciate the time you have. Just the other day I was talking to this person, or I can't believe they're gone. I wish I talked to them more. I wish I was able to see them more while they were alive. Regret. So why are they not doing those actions? Because they say it, and then a month later they go back to their similar routines. And those people who they may or may not say the same things to if they pass away, they're not contacting them. They're not calling them. They're not going out to get dinner or coffee. They're carrying on with their own life. Because people have their own issues. People have their own problems. So it's not about, I need to do this to fulfill myself. It's, I have my own issues, my own problems. How can I be concerned until I need to be concerned? And typically, it's a wake-up call that gives us concern. You have a job, a 9 to 5, and you're not concerned about getting another job. Well, one day your boss calls you into the office and they say, hey, things are just not going the way we thought it would, and we're glad to let you go. And now you're out of a job. The job that was paying your bills, that was making you feel safe and secure. Your whole world is turned upside down. And now you're scrambling for a solution. But at the same time, you're distraught. You don't know what to do. Trauma. And it's okay in the beginning to be confused. It's okay to be lost, right? But do you stay there, or do you find a way to be found, right? To find a way out of this haze, this mist in your brain, in your mind. And what I recommend is to implement that every single day. To start to form habits where the change that you want is going to be there. Because if you're going to say that you want something, but you don't do what's needed, then it's just an idea at that point. Because you can get a room of people, and that's why I kind of like the motivational coaches and the speakers when they do their seminars and they're all hoo-ha, rah, I can, and they're raising their hands and they're shouting and they're saying, yes, yes, I can, and they're doing all these wonderful things, and people are jumping up and they're dancing. And I think about it. Where are those people today? Why are those people not successful? Why are those people not having their own coaching programs or their own motivational seminars and workshops? And maybe some of them do. Maybe some of them do. But the reality is, most of them do not. But why? They spent money, time to go to a workshop to become more motivated and driven and ambitious to get a better life. Yet after that program is over, after that workshop is said and done, what happens? Yeah, you're on a high for a week or two, but then you're back to normal. Back to the same old 9 to 5, the same mundane days. And there's nothing wrong with living a life you're comfortable with. But if I told you you can live a life beyond your wildest dreams, would you listen? And yes, some might listen and some might say, I'm going to do it. Some might listen and say, you're crazy. I can never achieve that. Some might say, you're full of BS. And all this mumbo jumbo won't get anybody anywhere. But this is not a motivational talk. This is the truth. And the truth hurts. If you want to be lazy, you're going to have a difficult life. If you want to put in the work consistently, then you're going to have a very difficult life right now. It's going to be challenging. However, there's one difference. Having an easy life now constitutes for a difficult life continually until the day you die. But if you put in some work today and you say, you know what? I'm going to put in some work, some hard work. Then yes, in the beginning is going to be tough. You're going to lose sleep. You might lose connections with friends, relatives. But it's for a bigger purpose. It's so when you're in your later years, and it doesn't even have to be that late. If you're 30 and you put in the work, by 35 to 40, you can be wildly successful. If you play your cards right. If you do the things you need to do. If you learn from the people you need to learn from. But that doesn't stop people from being lazy. That doesn't stop people from having their own opinion. Because we live in a world or a society where your opinion is what matters. And it doesn't matter about what the other person's opinion is, because your opinion is your truth. And if you have an opinion, you want someone else to repeat your opinion, so your opinion can be validated. And then we wonder why people are not successful. It's because they create excuses in their minds, and then they look for someone to tell them that their reasoning is correct. They look for someone to say, hey, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the best you can. Take it easy. And I love when I have clients and they come to me and they tell me their problems and I give them solutions. And they tell me that they would have asked their friends the same thing, and their friends give them all these different things, right? All these different reasonings or solutions, whatever you want to call them. However, when the person looks at their life, right? So the person with the problem looks at their friend's life, and they're having the same problems. So you're listening to someone with the same problems, and how's that going to be the solution? Me, I come from a place of reason. There's consequences for actions. There's a way to think and there's a way to do things. And do I know everything? Oh no, definitely not. But I love to learn. And I learn every single day, because I understand that as long as I'm able to learn, then I'm able to grow. And the moment you stop learning or trying, then that's the day where you're going to become stagnant. It's going to be the day where you're going to see your growth dwindle more and more, to the point where 1 year, the only thing changed is maybe how you look in the mirror. You have the same exact life. You work in the same department, at the same facility. You have the same friends. You go to the same bars. You eat the same foods. You travel to the same places. Yet, you have a dream inside of you. You have this idea where you say, my best life, I would live here. I would have this type of car. I would have this type of house. Yet, people do not go after it. It's a dream. And there's nothing wrong with dreaming, because that's the start of it all. Having a dream is going to allow you to understand what you want to do. But don't allow your opinions and your limiting beliefs or your environment, the people you surround yourself with, to determine your worth and to determine what your life should be at the end of it. You decide that. So when it comes to success and when it comes to achieving great things in your life, what do you want to do? Why do the top 5% succeed wildly? The top 20% have a very nice lifestyle. And then we have the bottom 80 who dreams of living in that top 20% or that top 5%. Why do you not try to be in that top 5% or at least the top 20%? I'm talking to you, 80% of people. If you make less than $100,000 a year, what are you doing? Who are you blaming? You're blaming your circumstances, your parents, your friends, the neighborhood you grew up in? No. The only blame that there is on you. You are the person to blame. You are the reason why you're not successful. And yes, you can be upset and you can curse and say, oh, you don't think I can do it. Oh, you're just here to blah, 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 right? Excuses, right? Give yourself whatever reason you need to feel validated. My goal is not to make you feel any less of a person than you are, right? My goal is to lift you up, to help you rise to success, to help you get a mindset that's focused and driven and ambitious enough to go through all the obstacles and all the challenges to become successful. But there is a discrepancy, though, in our society, in our way of thinking. And it's stopping us. It's stopping people from going after the life that they can attain. And it's because of poor planning and the lack of daring to be great. People are content where they are. You make $60,000 a year, you say, I'm doing pretty good. Maybe your mom made $40,000. You say, I make $20,000 more than my mom. I must be doing well. Well, I'm here to say the bar is $100,000. So if you're not making $100,000 a year, that means you're doing something wrong. That's the bar. And it's okay to start. I don't shame someone who works at Walmart or McDonald's. I don't shame them because their journey is different than my journey. And they might need that job to make the way for their next step, right? We begin the motion of success, of our action plan. And when we have that in motion, then we go to the next step. And even if you stay at McDonald's and you go all the way up to being a manager, managers at McDonald's, some of them make over six figures. They make over $100,000. It doesn't matter what job you're in. It matters how ambitious you are. What is your plan? It doesn't matter what your mom and dad made. It doesn't matter what your friends make. It matters to get the dreams that you have in your head fulfilled. And maybe you don't have them, right? Maybe you just want to live in a cabin and, have a dog or a cat and not have to pay your taxes and just take it easy, right? You have a little farm in the back and you're living a lifestyle in the woods. No self-service, no internet, just maybe some books or just nature walks. Maybe a bike, go mountain biking, whatever it be. Maybe that's the life you want. And that life doesn't require a lot of money. It doesn't. You can probably get there making $30,000. That type of life. And then once you get there, you can do odd jobs and make even less. Maybe just enough to get anything you might need from town. Maybe get some gas if you have a car. You're probably not really worried about insurance. Or if you don't have a car, you just ride a bike. Right? You don't have to live a high lifestyle. But when we talk about the West, Western civilization, Western society, the dreams are very glamorous. If I ask you what your dream car is, you're going to tell me. You're not going to say, well, I really don't want a car. As long as I have a Huffy bicycle, I'm in good shape. How many Huffy bicycles do you see on the road? How many times do you think people lie to themselves when it comes to the true desires? So you have to be very honest with yourself. What do you want? Because if you don't want success, what's the alternative, right? What is the option if you don't have the success on your mind, right? If you don't have the success in your vision. So you're not even focused on anything. You're just going through the motions of life. And what I call that is you're taking what life is giving you. So life gives you whatever it wants, right? So if life wants to give you scraps and throw scraps at you, do you eat them? Are you happy with them? Is that a lavish meal for you? For some people it is. For some people, they don't even realize they're eating scraps. For some people, they don't even realize how amazing life could be. And until you start to experience life in general, it's going to be very challenging for you to understand what is capable of you, right? There's many restaurants in the world. There's many chefs. Some are renowned from, to being the best chef in the whole entire country or the best state or even the world. Have you eaten from them? And if you can just go to a restaurant, maybe that's out of your reach right now if you don't have success in your mind. Go to this restaurant and order the most expensive dish. Make sure you have the cash. And taste it. How does it taste? Does it taste good? Does it inspire you to continue to eat it and to have more meals similar to that? Because once your palate is used to luxury, that's what it wants. It doesn't want McDonald's anymore. It doesn't want Burger King. It doesn't want Wendy's, Subway. That stuff is disgusting after you had something great. Why would you accept something subpar when you can have something even better? And that's where a lot of people struggle. They never had that better yet. They have never tasted success, and to some degree, so they don't know that they really want it. They don't know how bad they need it. So they accept what they accept, and that is their life. And they put these obstacles or these reasonings behind why they do it. And for me, it's so strange to hear these people say, well, the reason why I don't want to go to this restaurant is because I don't support them doing this and that, right? They have a reason for why they won't go to a certain restaurant. Okay, well, if you don't want to go to that restaurant, then how about this restaurant? Well, you know, they actually do the same thing, right? I don't like how they cook their food. I don't like how they require me to dress nice and be upscale. Whatever, right? There's a reason. But if I took you to one of my most favorite restaurants, maybe here in town, maybe I found some place that's close to you, and I say, I'm going to take you there. That's my favorite place in town. And we go. We have a great time. The food's amazing. The time's amazing. And you realize, wow, this night was great. I would like every night to be that way. What needs to be done to make every night that way? Am I speaking your language now? You can have this every night. Why are you not having it every night? And yes, if you want to be health conscious, if you want to work out and eat your salads and do what you got to do, but every once in a while you splurge, you have a good time, do it, yes. If you want to go out with your friends and not have to worry about the day after, you drink only the top shelf liquors, you're not drinking your Tito's and your Captain Morgan's, right? Whatever the low quality liquors are. You're not worried about that. You're not worried about paying $55 a glass for a bottle of wine. You're not worried about that. Because you like what you like. And when you have a taste of success, you're going to start to like success more. However, if you don't have that success, right, on your palate, in your mind, in your life, you're going to continue to give reasons and validate why you don't have it. I'm not successful because of this reason. I don't need success because of this reason. And that's where a lot of people are. I can give you $1 and you have $1, right? So you only need $1. You say, hey, can I have $1 to ride the bus? I say, all right, here's $1. You have $1 to ride the bus. You don't need anything more, right? You got what you wanted. So now you're going to be able to ride the bus. You have $1. But what happens if I sweeten the deal a little bit? What happens if I say, I'm going to give you $100 to ride the bus, right? Same thing. You're riding the bus anyway. You're like, no. I don't need $100. I only need $1. I only need $1 to ride the bus. Okay. But hey, I'm trying to give you $100 so you can have $100. You can ride the bus 100 times. No. I only need $1 to ride the bus. I'm only worried about this one time. Okay. Try again. I'll give you $1,000. Take the $1,000 and ride the bus. It's 1,000 times more than what you asked for. No, you already gave me $1 and I only need $1 to ride the bus. I'm good. That's success. That's people telling you that you can have success. And you settle for what you have, $1. But I say, hey, you can have $100. Okay, that's reasonable, right? $100 is actually not a lot of money. People buy shoes that are over $100. People buy video game consoles that are more than $100. They spend more on wardrobes or on beauty, hair, makeup, etc. Over $100. And for them, it's a necessity. They need it. We live in a world where people will buy a $1,000 phone, but won't invest in themselves 1 cent. We live in a world where people will waste a whole entire day watching Netflix over and over, or video games day after day, but they won't use any of that time to better their life. That's the problem we have right now. That's the problem with our society. We have a lot of people who believe that their life is their life. And I'm not saying that they don't have power over what they can do in their life. I'm saying their life, meaning this is what I got, this is the card I pulled, and I have to use my hand, right? I have to only use the cards that I was given. Think about poker. You can have the lowest hand possible and still win. Why? Someone can have two aces, two pairs of aces, right? And you can have, let's say you have, just two of a kind, right? Low numbers, right? Let's say you have 3 clubs, a pair of that. Well, guess what? If you play your cards right, the person in front of you is going to say, do they have better than what I have? Or are they bluffing? And what I find is a lot of people play their cards wrong. If they have a good hand, they have a good hand, right? And they're like, ooh, this is my life. It's so great, right? And then if they have a bad hand, oh, everything's miserable. Nothing is going to surmount to anything. Then you have the other side too. You have a bad hand and you're showing the world like, oh, I got the best hand in the world. I'm going to win this. Or if you have a very good hand and you say, this could be tough. Like I don't know if I'm going to win this hand, but we'll see what happens, right? Best of luck. Right? We have 4 different types of mentalities. Each can be used to your benefit in some way. Because if you can make someone believe that you don't have something and they bet more and you come out winning, you win more. So you can be successful. The problem is, do you want to do the work? Do you want to take the hand you were dealt and play the cards how they need to be played? Yeah, it's going to be nerve-wracking. Yes, it's going to be maybe moments where you don't feel confident. And that's fine. You don't have to feel confident every single day. The act of confidence actually comes after doing the action. A lot of people say they're not confident, yet they're not even willing to do the action that's needed to be confident. So story time. So when I was a teacher, you don't feel confident the moment you're in front of your first class. And I'm talking about when you're a new teacher. You go in front of the class, you just finished college, and you feel like you're ready, right? You had good training, good mentors, and they said you're ready, you're good to go. And then doubt starts to kick in. Confidence doesn't seem as strong as it did before, right? Because we're not really worried about waking up in the morning and walking to the bathroom. So why are we worried about going in front of a classroom or going in front of an audience and teaching or speaking? Yeah, I understand there's a fear of public speaking and things like that. But this is more than just a fear. This is a lack of confidence. The lack of confidence that people have in themselves is going to stop them from even believing that they can or can't do something. Because if you have the confidence to say, I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do this, and you hold true to your word, be it positive, then success is on the way. Be it negative, then your life is going to be in a rat race, in a rut. So we have to get out of that. We have to get out of that way of thinking where, yes, it is scary. Yes, it is uncertain. We don't know what's going to be next, right? We don't know what's around the corner. We don't know what tomorrow is going to hold. However, we do know our actions. We do know we can hold ourselves accountable to do the things we say we're going to do. So if I say I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow because I want to lose weight and I want to be successful in losing that weight, why would I wake up the next day and not go to the gym? I'm losing already. Michael Jordan said, once you let your brain not do something once, it becomes a habit. So a lot of people are in the habit of not doing. So they don't even try. Because they told themselves one time before, I'm going to do it, and they didn't do it, and there was no consequences. And the fact that there was no consequences led to them to not being able to fulfill their actions anymore. And to get over that, you need someone to push you. You need something to wake your brain up. You need something to say, hey buddy, I don't know what you've been doing, but this needs to change. I find this a lot with people who are under some type of substance, like some substance abuse, whether it be smoking, alcohol, gambling, even though it's not a substance, but it's a habit that can be very destructive. Those things, until they burn you in some way, they're going to stay there. Because no matter how much you would like to get rid of it, no matter how much you try, something has to happen. Trauma. And as much as I hate to say it, some people need that type of learning. Think of the kid who wants to touch the stove or put their hand, in the fire. Don't do it. You say the stove's hot. Don't do it. Don't do it. But guess what? The kid looks at you and they maybe give you a little smile saying, I'll do what I want. Right? And they do it. And they get burned. They start crying. Oh my God. I can't believe you didn't stop me. We tried. We said, don't do it. You did it. So what happens next? They learn the hard way. Don't touch the stove. I won't touch the stove. Because they got burned. They got hurt. And people who are making money right now, people who have some type of roof over their head, clothes on their back, they're in a very plush place. It's very comfortable there, right? Lift up your feet, turn on the TV. You have maybe AC, running water. It's nice, right? But if that was all taken away from you and you had nothing, how would you feel? Would you feel defeated, hopeless? Would you feel that karma just had it out for you? It's a bad day. Today's Friday the 13th. It's bad luck. Something bad happened to you. The universe, my horoscope said, oh, I'm going to have a bad day or my relationship's going to end. And if something happens and you push off what happened to a certain type of reasoning. Well, if anything happens in your life and you don't have a backup plan, whose fault is that? Is it the universe's fault that you lost your job? Is it the universe's fault you got in a car accident? No. Every morning, I listen to motivational speeches, Monday through Friday at least. And the reason why I do that is because when I'm going to the gym, it's not that I need that motivation to push me to go to the gym. It just sparks a deeper focus inside of my brain. It helps me meditate a little bit deeper. And when I do that, I see all the things that I can work on. I see all the things people fail at. And I say, I have learned from their failure. I'm not going to make it mine. Because you can learn from books, this knowledge, or you can learn from experience, which is wisdom, or you can learn from someone who has that wisdom, then is your knowledge. It's like a circle, if you think of it that way. So you don't have to fail and fail over and over again. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every single day. The wheel has been created. Use it. But people want to create the wheel again and again. They want to do it their way because it has to be their way. Because they have an opinion about what's going on in the world, and they say, well, my opinion matters. Okay, it does. Yeah. But what are you going to do when your opinion doesn't matter anymore? Because where you are right now is going to keep going down. Right? Think of it as inflation. Right? In America, we're seeing some of the highest levels of inflation we have seen in our whole entire life. That same dollar is not giving you the same buying power it did 20 years ago. So where you are right now, if you don't elevate yourself, you're actually going down. Think of a boat on a body of water, and the water's going down. You're not sinking, right? The water's just going down. You're not being proactive. A lot of people are not being proactive. So if you're not proactive in being successful, what's going to happen? Eventually, you're going to fail. And it hasn't happened yet. So if you know you're going to fail and you can stop it right now, today, you can implement things today to make sure that you don't fail, would you do it? I'm sure a lot of people are saying yes or, oh, I won't fail. Okay. Keep everything the same right now. Everything you have the same, your income the same, the house you live in the same, the car you drive the same. Keep everything the same. And talk to me in 10 years. How's your life? Is it better? Is it worse? Or is it the same? Let me know. Because I know the answer. But for some people, they have to get burned. Some people have to learn the hard way. And that's why I urge people to become successful, right? To put in the work, put in the effort to say, hey, I can get more, so why not get more? If someone tells you not to do something because they believe it's the right thing, how is that your truth? How is that your belief? No. What you want for your life, go after it. No one should be telling you what you can and can't do. You're not a child. And if you are young right now, maybe in your teens, you're still in high school, learn, right? Take in what they give you and make a choice. And either you learn from your failures or you heed the warning. But I will tell you, success doesn't come by waiting. It doesn't come by waiting for someone to come save you. It doesn't come by waiting for the right moment or waiting for an opportunity to strike. It comes by striking. A lion that's in the jungle doesn't sit underneath a tree and wait for its food to come. It goes out and it gets his food. You have to be hungry. You have to be angry at where you are right now. Because if you're not angry, if you're not hungry, if you're not ambitious to go after more, something's wrong. Who has been teaching you? Who has been putting things in your mind that is stopping you from going after more? Someone has. Maybe it's your lifestyle. Maybe it's your environment. Maybe it's your parents, your friends. You can even look at a group of friends. This next time you go out, you go out to a club or something, look at a group of friends. I'm almost certain you can determine who's the leader. And everyone else is just a follower. You have a shepherd and you have a bunch of sheep going wherever the shepherd wants. Yeah, you can have multiple leaders in a group, right? You can have multiple leaders in a room. Yeah, that's fine. But more often than not, people enjoy following someone because it stops them from having to use their own brain and make a decision. Wait, I don't have to make a decision? This sounds good, right? Why do you think so many ladies, right? Where do you want to eat? I don't know. Wherever you want, it's fine. Whatever. What do you need to move for? Whatever. Whatever you're in the mood for. They don't want to make a decision. And a little bit comes that they want to see if you know what they like, et cetera, et cetera. But people really don't want to put themselves out there. People don't want to put themselves to be a target. So if they're not a target, what are they? Just another person in the corner? Just another idea that wasn't said? Just another person who has beliefs and ambitions that are never shared with the world? Can you live life like that? And most of you can. And that's the sad truth. 80% of you can, actually. 80% of you are going to say, well, whatever. Right? Some of you rise, but most of you will fall. And that's the harsh reality. And no matter how much I pick people up and I say, let's go, let's go, let's go. If you don't want it, you're not going to have it. I remember I had a client back when I first started my coaching business in 2018. And he was gung-ho about getting in shape. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do a little experiment. I said, I'm going to give you 2 weeks free. 2 weeks where I'm your personal trainer. We're going to work out 5 days a week. And we're going to put you on a regiment where the only thing you have to do after that regiment is to continue it. Easy, right? 2 weeks free. Sounds like a bargain, right? The only thing he had to do was wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So he wakes up 5 o'clock in the morning. We go to the gym. The workout's already created. I'm doing all the documentations. He just has to do the work. And he shows up every single day because it's free, right? Can't be free. And it's quality too. And he's there. First week, okay, cool. Oh, I'm sore, I'm all this and all that. And I'm like, good. That's the point. Pain is only weakness leaving the body. So second week, he wants to be Superman because he's trying to rush. He's like, all right, we're going to lift heavier we're going to lift heavier weights this week. We're going to go faster on the treadmill. We're doing everything double. I say, that's not a good idea. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't touch the stove. You're going to get burned. You're going to get burned. Guess what he did? He didn't listen. He got the heavy weights. I'm going to do these heavy weights. Hurts himself. All right, I'm gonna run this treadmill. I'm gonna run the fastest I can. Don't do it. You gotta hurt yourself. He hurts himself. So now, this is the second week. I tell him, I say, hey, just continue doing the plan that I gave you. You don't need to be a hero. Do what I gave you. That's enough to get you to where you need to be. And then as soon as you get to a position where your body can handle that type of intensity, that type of weight, that type of strain, then we can reevaluate. But your body's here right now. And he was trying to go all the way down over there because he wants to be at the finish line, not at the start. He didn't want to put in the work. He wanted a shortcut. Because what I was telling him was, we need to start here and build our way up. You don't build a house without foundation. So why would you think that going to the gym didn't require any type of foundation? Why do you think your life doesn't require any type of foundation? Your relationship doesn't require any type of foundation? Because it does. It will. And many people skip that step. That's why relationships are failing. And we're going to talk about relationships in next month. All of next month. I'm going to have several dating coaches, dating experts talking to you. I'm going to be interviewing them. And I'm going to be asking them, what's going on in the world of dating? And I'm curious to see what they say. Is it good? Oh, everything's going great. Everyone's in love and everyone's getting married. Okay, cool. Because if they say that, I'm going to say, do you understand that the marriage rates are the lowest as it has ever been? The birth rates are the lowest they have ever been in our country? That's what I'm going to ask. Because when it comes to your profession, sometimes you need the honest truth, right? I remember when I was a swim coach, people didn't come to me and said, hey, Michael, I want you to go easy on my kid because they need someone to go easy on them. No. They get babied enough at home. And these are privileged kids. Wealthy households. The top 20%. They see it. Their parents are business owners. Wealthy. Mansions. But when it came to hard work and me, none of that mattered to me. You in the pool with me now. We're getting to work. And I always thought, what makes one teacher different than another teacher, right? Yeah, there were some wonderful female teachers we had, instructors, coaches. We had some wonderful male instructors, coaches, teachers. But what was the biggest difference between every single one? Everyone had their own style, though, their own flavor, how they implemented their day, their lessons. They got to know the student. And when they got to know the student, they understood where they're strong at, where they're weak at, and what type of personality do they have. Because understanding those three areas is going to help you understand that person and what they need for themselves to grow. I never had a student who didn't learn how to swim. And I remember one time a mom came in and I think she was upset, right? Because the swim school was very expensive, number one. It wasn't cheap. And she came to me, and she had 2 boys. And she said, Mike, I went to this place, and this place, right? All different swim schools. Good swim schools too, right? And she says, this is the last one. If they don't learn how to swim here, they're not going to learn how to swim. I gave up on them. So I was like, okay, cool. Not a problem, Mom. And I asked her, right? Because I'm going to need permission to get this done. I say, Mom, do you want them to swim? And she says, yes. I say, okay. Are you going to allow me to do whatever I need to do to them? I'm not going to hurt them, but I am going to help them swim. Do I have your do I have your permission? She says, yes, Michael, you do. I don't care what you do as long as they can swim. Right? And I had, I think, 9 sessions with them. I had 9 weeks to get them how to swim. So that 9 weeks didn't deal with simply me teaching them how to move their arms and kicks. I had to teach them to get over their fear of the water. How many of you have fears that you have not even thought of? You threw in a dark corner and you said, well, I'm not going to worry about that because it's not relevant right now in my life. How many of you don't do anything that makes you antsy or fearful of your life because you like comfort? How many of you don't even fathom trying to conquer your greatest fear? Maybe it be skydiving, swimming with the sharks, whatever, right? How often do you think about that? Typically not often, right? If you do, you're a sadist. But focus, right? Because when you have an obstacle in front of you, you have a few choices. You can go over it, you can go through it, or you can ignore it. And what people do, especially with success, is they ignore it. Oh, I understand it's there, but no, I'm just not going to look. I'm just not going to look that way. When you go past on the sidewalk and you look at a fancy restaurant, do you look inside the window? Or do you keep walking on the sidewalk? Because you don't want to give your brain an imagery of what it could have. You ignore it. The majority of you ignore it. And then you have people who want a shortcut. My good friend who got the 2 free weeks at the gym. I'm going to go over the wall. Shortcut. It'll be a good idea. Gets hurt. You didn't get over the wall. But then you have those people who are so ambitious. It doesn't matter the challenge. It doesn't matter the obstacle. They're going to break through that sucker. And they get a sledgehammer and they break down that wall. Whether it be a physical wall or a wall that you hold in your mind. They break it down and they say, there's no obstacle, there's no challenge, there's no person who's going to limit me. There's no way I'm going to live my life in shambles and with less, while other people have greater than I do. Success. You define your own success. Your definition of success is yours. Have you defined it yet? Maybe you need to put a monetary number on your success. And it could be crazy, right? Like it could be $1 billion, but you need to do $1 billion worth of work. Because if you're not doing $1 billion worth of work, are you going to reach it before you die? So you spent your life being unsuccessful. Yes, you might have some successes along the way. I'm not saying you're going to be a complete failure, but did you achieve your goal? And you can have as big as you can have any dream you want. It could be as big and grand as you want it to be. However, if you're going to have that dream, you need to have the right action and the right plan. And if you don't know how to implement those actions, if you don't know how to create a plan, that's where you find a coach or a mentor or a teacher or a certification to help you get there. So all that said and done, the limits people put on you, place on you, are shackles on your feet. They're tying you down. Other people's beliefs, other people's will, they're tying you down. And there's a story about an elephant who was at the circus. And when he was a little elephant, he had a rope tied around his foot. And no matter what that baby elephant did, he couldn't get away. No matter what he did, he couldn't escape that rope, that shackle, that bondage that was keeping him there. And he grew up to be big and strong. And you might say he was the strongest elephant in the circus in town. Yet that same tiny rope that was holding him hostage, that was holding him captive when he was a young elephant baby, is holding him captive still to the day he's an adult. And if he wanted to, he can break every single rope in the world. But his mind thought that rope was not going to break, was not going to budge, because he had tried before and was unsuccessful. So he gave up. His mindset said it can't be done. So no matter what type of rope you have in your life, no matter what type of shackles, no matter what environment you're living in, you can overcome that. So the reason why you're not successful is because you're not choosing to overcome all of those obstacles. There's no shortcuts. Don't run away. Get to work. Pick up the sledgehammer. Pick up the axe, the hammer, whatever tool you want to break down this wall or this obstacle in your mind, this belief that you have been shown, that you have been given since you were young, actually. Because the school system is not or was not created to allow you to be successful. There's more self-made millionaires with no college education, than there are millionaires who went to college. School's not the answer. It's your mind. So if you are going to school and you're learning, you're doing all these wonderful things, keep going. I'm a huge advocate for higher education, especially college, because you do get a certification, you do get a degree, but what college shows you is that you can accomplish something, right? You can put in the work and get something done. College is not easy. It's not for everyone. And you don't need college to show that to you, but for some people, college is the easiest way for you to say, okay, I put in the work, I can do it. But then after college, be very careful and be very aware of what you're doing. Because a lot of people are doing this in college and they're rising to the occasion. As soon as they graduate, everything's downhill. I get my job, start a family, everything just kind of stays the same. You don't really look up again and want to challenge yourself the same way you did in college because you already did the hard work. But college is not the hard work. It's what comes after college. It's the hard work. Yes, you have knowledge that you can apply. You have a degree that you can use. You might have connections you have made. And all of them are going to help you get to where you need to be. So if you can simply say, okay, I've reached this height in my life, but I want to go to the next step. How do you do it? And we're going to be talking about that next week, more in depth. How do you push yourself when you don't even know how to push yourself? How do you give yourself 100% consistently when you're used to giving 40%? And we're really going to be tackling that because that's the key for the next step, the next steps. There's no reason why success can't be attained by you. Because if you don't attain success, that is your choice. It's not your life. You chose comfort. So if you continue to choose comfort and ignore the challenge, that's where you're going to be. So all in all, success is possible from anyone. It's just you have to change your mindset. If you can focus a little bit more, get out of your comfort zone a little bit more often, you're going to start to see yourself evolve, get stronger, get better, more focused, more primed for the person you were always meant to be. And I'm excited for that person, and I hope you are too. Because if you can be excited for what's next, then guess what? You're really going to put in some effort in paying attention. Just like that kid who's excited to go to Disney World. I can't wait to go to Disney World. It's going to be great. And they're thinking about it constantly. And when they get there, it's just as magical as they imagined. That right there, that fairy tale, that fantasy could be your life. But don't allow what other people place in your brain to limit you. Don't allow other people to say you can't do something. Don't allow success to be something that's a scarcity, because success can be in abundance. There's no limit to success. The government has approved it. They can print as much money as they want. So that means you can make as much money as you want. Because a lot of people think success with money. So put a dollar value on your success. And if you don't want to do that, put a life goal on your success. Put some type of factor that can be planned for and attained, right? So just do those small steps. So again, my name is Michael Reardon. I'm a mindset coach. Email me your questions at coachinginsession@gmail.com. If you have any questions about what we spoke about today, if you have any questions in general that you would like to have answered on the new video series, which is Coaching in Session, below in the description box, you'll see all the links to all the social medias. Follow, like, subscribe, do all those great things. And until then, take it easy.